Welcome to week 3 of ECAC Apex Legends Spring 2024 season. I'm here with TNPDX. Welcome, Tien. How are you been doing?
It's been a great day so far. I'm excited to see what week 3 is all about in the ECAC season.
Yeah, ECAC has been doing this. This is again week 3 of the map pools and all kinds of stuff has been changing each and every week, and I'm excited to get into the new map that we're seeing. It's a fairly new map from what I've understood. What can you tell us about this map, Tien?
To be honest, I can't really say much because I've actually been too busy with school, so I personally have not read a lot of the patch notes. But I do know that there is perks with the legends now. That's just some of the things I just know as far as I know, like with the new season updates. But I personally do not know any of like the new map rotations or the new map additives.
Thank you for that insight, and that's kind of cool. I haven't really heard anything about the whole perk system, so that'll be interesting to see and see how the players kind of utilize everything in that nature. So, and also if you kind of are taking breaks in and out of the broadcast, and life gets to you, we can follow the Twitter at ECAC_esports to get everything known about all of your favorite teams, player updates, things of that nature. See how well your teams are doing as well. And I'm excited to get into replays in the future, and we appreciate Advanced GG for being the gamer supplement for that, and we'll get into those later. But overall, let's get into the first set of teams. Tien.
First off, we have CATU Apex, and second we have Apex Legends Red, Soaring Eagles, GCU Moonlight, and GFU Esports, which is the team I'm rooting for. GU Apex and Hudson Green, Lakeland University Apex, LIU Apex, and Muskingum University Black.
Sounds great. And again, there's a lot of other teams out there. These are just the ones that are playing today in our specific map. And we have JJ Apex, we have Southern Arc Blue, San Jose State, Trine University Blue, ULL Apex Black, UMT Grizz Copper, USM Huskies Blue, Weber State JV, WFU Corsonic, and WSU Esports. And pay attention to those colors because you will see those on our mega map when we take a look throughout the competition, and you want to make sure to follow your favorite teams and see how well they're doing, if they're still left alive in the octagon, things of that nature. And now we're going to take a look at the results of the past few weeks and how your teams have been standing. We have from the bottom to the top, we have UMT Grizz Copper taking up the rear, Hudson Green, USM Huskies, Soaring Eagles, GU Apex, Lakeland University Apex, Weber State JV, Trine University Apex Legends Red, and LIU Apex. We have some of those points on there for you guys. And again, points can escalate really quickly in this game. You can get a lot of eliminations in one map, or you can get those placement points really, really well. And we see those top 3 spots being GFU, GCU Moonlight, and San Jose State. And again, a lot of shifting has been happening in that top 3 spot. GCU Moonlight, GFU Esports have been up there fairly consistently, but we've seen Southern Arc Blue be up there, Corsonic be up there as well. A lot of craziness can happen in such a short amount of time. And we're going to take a look at the beautiful map of Olympus. Have you noticed any of your favorite spots to land so far, TNPDX? Is this a map that's just that new that even you haven't dropped much on it, or do you have any preferences?
We just looked past one of the B-rolls. I personally land in estates a lot since it's just mainly about hot drop, and whether it's in rank or pubs, I usually just play a lot just to get like the early kills and just to see what the game's goes on from there.
Sounds great. Yeah, no, Estates is definitely one of those streamer loot spots. A lot of streamers love to go there for those early fights. It feels kind of, in that Fortnite realm of Tilted Towers almost. A lot of close skirmishes, a lot of fun fights in that kind of housing space. I personally, anywhere I see that blue circle on the map, I'm dropping there and I'm showing them what's up. You gotta take bigger risks when you're in the ranked ladder. You gotta get as many points as you can. And I'm excited to see how these teams utilize maybe some more excitement, maybe more aggression in the early games. Like I've mentioned before, it's kind of first game is more towards that kills, then placements, and then kills again is kind of what I've seen the trend of these 3 map kind of situations. What have you kind of seen?
Oh, um, You,
And I believe they are loading up into not the battle bus, but the spacecraft. Fun little spaceship on this map, and they're going to be dropping as soon as they can, and we're going to see where they decide to land here. I'd like to take a look at the mega map here and see where these teams are going. And the states, only a couple teams, and all kinds of loot patterns are taken here. And what you guys can't see, but I have a little mini map of, is how consistent there is high tier loot in certain spots. And hydroponics is one of those spots. We see orbital cannon as well, and it's not got many visitors there, but overall, a lot of the loot is more towards that north side and that west side as well. So we're going to see a lot of teams landing towards that north side and west side, and that is accurate as we see on the mini map here. And overall, the first zone, not really close to the minute. That loot goblin looting kind of situation that happens early in these battle royale situations. Gonna look at GFU Esports as they're kind of taking some loot here, and again, all these teams not really engaging much of a fight, but I'll be excited to see how these teams take early aggression just because of how strong kills can lead to victory later on. Again, the top 3 spots, I mean, GFU is kind of more consistent towards those placement kind of style points, but the other 2 are really heavy on those eliminations. So we're going to have to hopefully see some of those teams on the bottom portion get some of those eliminations and build up those points for their teams. We're looking at GFU Esports here. They are the #1 seed, if you will, so far. And a lot of shots hit from Xenoplays. They're going to try to W key here and get some aggression. Muskingum Black gets one of their players knocked. They're going to have to stay through this fight. 2 people knocked. There's only 1 left, and it's Plant Mantis. Will he live to fight another day? He's going to have to, because it's a 3v1 scenario, and if you're... Brandon's played a lot of this game, and he would tell you, 3 against 1, you're not winning that unless it's Timmy himself. Plant Mantis, not even going to recover any banners at all. He's just going to run away. We see GFU Esports with an interesting composition here. We see the Mad Maggie, which I'm not sure if she's gotten any buffs lately. I'm not sure if you could give some insight onto that. And then we see the Loba, which gives you a lot of loot because of how big this map is. There's a lot of loot that will be undiscovered, and using that ultimate is very helpful and really good for rotations as well. And it looks like Goats Eats Grass on the Bangalore. We've seen him on this before, so a little bit more of a comfort pick, but I haven't seen Xenoplays on Mad Maggie or TK64 on the Loba, so I'm interested to see how this will play out for their team. But overall, we see 18 squads remaining. We're going to take a look at a replay here with those knocks happening here. Xenoplays getting that early fight and then using his tactical ability there to push them out of uncharted territory and then working into that 2v3. It looks like Southern Arc Blue also getting a pick onto Num Num from UM there, and Little Baka getting some knocks, but also gets knocked there. It looks like a fight happening between Little Baka's squad and Falcon's squad here. Love to take a look at that if we get a chance. It looks like we're seeing a little bit of that menu that we talked about of some of those perks maybe. Different little perks you can get on this map. It'll be very interesting to see how it plays out in endgame. It's a crack here. Cracked on the shield. The Wraith portal's out. And they're going to sustain through this fight. Southern Arc Blue did get that finish onto the teammate. Maybe the Wraith just tried to get the banner and get out. It's very possible here. But overall, I mean, that's still a point for the squad of Southern Arc Blue. If you get a full kill, it's still an elimination, even if they respawn back into the game. It's like they're crafting here. Katu, Apex is taking a fight here, scanning for early information. Some nice shots with a 30-30 repeater. Gonna have to sustain a little bit here because those artificial shields only last so long as a catalyst. Katu, Apex. Trying to get some shots with this Sentinel. I honestly would say that this map is going to be very sniper heavy with the occasional, you know, either R99 or assault rifle secondary. I mean, there's so many long fights that you're going to be taking on this map. And just for you guys as the audience, TNPDX is having some microphone issues, so we're just trying to get that all worked out right now. And it looks like GFU Esports Ghosties Grass goes down, and they're going to have to recover the banner eventually. Medkit coming out online for TK64. Xenoplays is sustaining through a fight as well. Solar, It Wasn't Me, and Tox are looking to try to W key on this 2v3 scenario. This is a really good fight for them to take if they decide to. Mad Max Ultimate being utilized in their favor, and the zone is now closing. I'd like to take a look at this mega map again. It's my favorite thing to look at to see kind of how these rotations are playing out. If we could take that whenever we can. But I would like to still point out that there's a lot of squads remaining here, but there's 36 players remaining. There's a lot of squads down members at this point in time. Yeah, Zyla is going to be alone from their squad and a few others as well. Looking like a fight from ULL Black. And the zone's closing all the way to the west side here. And LIU Apex in a decent scenario here. A lot of loot kitted up. And a lot of blue shields. Not purple quite yet, but, you know, that's one fight away from being purple for sure for all these members. Only 126 damage. That's, you know, a couple bullets on a few individuals, and they'll build those up. Really good spot for LIU Apex as well.
Okay, I'm here. All right.
Welcome back, Brandon. Anything that I missed so far? You got any thoughts on everything going on so far?
Well, I'm just more intrigued with the new crafting system since you can't really craft your armors anymore. But I'm just waiting to see like how the game goes on in the next 2 games to see like with rotations and how people will fight to upgrade their armor and whatnot. But that
you have to take more fights if you can't craft your armor. You gotta have that purple armor for endgame, if not that red. On you know, it's a little bit more helpful, but not necessarily needed. The purple to red, but. Would you also say that this map seems a little bit more sniper heavy?
I personally say it's more assault rifle heavy. I think the Hemlock and R301 would be utilized, and possibly even the G7 too. But that's just my personal preference.
Sounds great. Thank you. Appreciate that. Looks like a fight from Katu Apex here. They're the kill leaders. They already have a squad wipe underneath their name. 13 squads remaining, 32 players. Those squads are fairly filled, so they're going to have to be very cautious of these fights. Some damage from Risky TV there. It looks like the Loba is rotating or I believe that's a Wraith rotating as well. Hydro. They're going to be taking an engagement here. Smokes popped, not a lot of digital threats in their hands, so these Bangalore smokes are being very, very helpful. Still taking this engagement, creeping up on some space here, getting some tags, but is it enough to fully W key here? And it looks like they're going to take this redeploy. Mobile taking a fight here. Some nice shots in the air. Pathing's a lot easier to track there when you're redeploying as they were. And it looks like Extremely Washed Mubby and Gordo are just sitting on the purple shields here and a really nice high ground location.
I wonder what we'll find over there. Time to regroup here.
GFU Esports did get the respawn back onto Goat Eats Grass. They're now on a 3-member squad again. Not down a member at all, and the purple or blue shields are going to be enough to sustain through a fight here. A lot of teams have yet to fight, so those blue shields are going to be prevalent here. No more able to be crafted, as Brandon was saying, which is good insight for this map, is that they're able to craft other kinds of things, like perks, like you mentioned, but they cannot craft the shields, which means it's imperative to get early engagements here and get those shields crafted the old-fashioned way. Looking at this next circle here, only a couple teams in zone, and it's going to be closing very soon here. They're inside. Catalyst using their goo on the wall there. And the Bangalore ultimate coming online as well. And the Watson securing them from inside this building. Nice Arcstar spot. They're not stuck, but they're stunned, so it might be a potential push from this team here. A lot of damage coming online. These open windows are very, very helpful. And the Watson getting the stun outside the building as well. Southern Arc Blue, I believe that's a squad wipe for them.
It's very interesting to see.
Left.
I like how they display the new amount of damage needed to upgrade their new armor level, since you just see like the level 3 and it tells you the amount of damage needed to upgrade to level 4. And it's also like this displays the new perk system between the two next to it as well. But I personally love it a lot. What do you think?
I think it's interesting for sure. I think it's another layer to add to the game, which will be interesting to see, as kind of in the past Fortnite added that. They added the kind of the perk system, and a lot of people liked it, a lot of people didn't, but to each their own. And I honestly haven't played enough to see how this would truly affect the competitive kind of style to everything. But enemy shield broken on that Revenant. San Jose State trying to see if they can maybe get aggressive here. GU Apex also W King trying to get a revive here, but San Jose State, one of the highest squads, number 3 on our leaderboard, just picking off so much damage. The 33 repeater, that nice little sniper rifle, that's an automatic, a lot of quick damage that you can do. Revive comes online for GU Apex there, but it's only 2 members of their squad. Even if they heal all the way up here, they're still down 1. Respawn is close though. Respawn is right here. Potential to revive, but there's a not G7 Scout, but a 33 repeater on the high ground, and he gets it off. His box is right there. It was too late of a reaction from San Jose State. They're gonna have to try to get some damage onto these players coming back into the octagon here. Nice crack. Now the Prowler, I mean, you're just not gonna hit those shots. The Prowler is very, very hard as an SMG burst to hit those kinds of shots. But nice shot with the Kraber. That's a lot of damage on that redeploying target. Seven squads remaining here. 20 total members alive. And they're just all close and in proximity to each other. GCU's Lil Baka and Bookworm are still alive, trying to rotate early. And will they do so? Katsu Apex still has 3 members. GCU Moonlight, again, they're the number 2 team on our roster right now. And the Bocek, my favorite gun, or arrow in the rifle kind of category. Bocek is my favorite weapon. It is just so fun to use. Few members knocked here, and I believe it's gonna tick pretty heavily on the Storm here. Let's be careful. Playing around these shields, it's a quick fight here, and they're pincered though. Even though they lasted through this other fight, fortunately they have that lifeline to revive each other. And 3 squads remaining, 7 players. That's 2 full squads. And a solo, or 1 squad and 2 duos there. trying to get some shots with this Kraber. Katu Apex in the best position on the map so far. They're in a really good spot on this high ground, but does it pull away from them or towards them? It's actually pulling towards them, and so it's really, really good positioning for them to be able to utilize this high ground. Katu Apex still, again, the kill leader of the lobby. They have 5 total eliminations. Nice spam. Risky TV has this full shield, and he has that conduit using that passive on him to be able to help him heal up through that fight. Big scan from the Bloodhound, trying to get some pick damage off. It's anybody's game. This is 2 full squads remaining. One's on the high ground, one's on the low ground. It's GCU Moonlight versus Katu Apex. Beast of the Hunt is procced. Scanning's coming in. Looking to engage here. Spamming through the smokes. Risky TV is looking to get in a fight here. He is the kill leader. There's one knocked. There's one more knocked. It's just a Bloodhound left and a big left kick into the body, leading to that map going to, I believe, GCU Moonlight. I could know. It actually could be somebody else. Let's take a look. It was Katu Apex. Thank you for that reminder.
Apex, yeah.
What did you see kind of happening there?
You know, so like just overall in the game in general, I only saw, if I remember correctly, 2 people who had red Evo shields. You know, and already knowing how much damage, well, I don't really know, but like just obviously like seeing how the armor progresses throughout the game with spectating other players, we see like different kinds of colors. You know, obviously from like white to blue to purple to red. But I only just see 2 people, and to have like one person, which is Risky TV, who had the red armor, to just have the high ground, just dominate the players from the low ground, and just achieve the win.
Yeah, and if you have more HP, you have more time to, either reload or more just time to work with in general, which leads to a lot more of success in the overall standing. So we see Katu Apex take advantage of that Evo shield very clearly and very, very evidently. And he built that confidence early. We saw him having four eliminations before the end game, which leads to a lot of confidence of a player and motivation, momentum, all kinds of that. And I believe we'll be loading into the next lobby very, very soon. But overall, we're going to take a look at these replays brought to you by Advanced GG. And I believe they're the best gamer supplement out there. So we got to take a look at these replays again. GFU Esports taking those early engagements. Really, really fun to watch. And Muskingum Black getting knocked there. But overall, we saw kind of the maintained number 1, 2, and 3 seed in the lobby lasting fairly well into the last 5 squads remaining, I believe. And then a lot of eliminations from Katu Apex. I'm curious to see how they kind of stand on the overall standings as well. But GCU Moonlight lasted to 11 squads remaining and a lot more. Fight from Southern Arc, San Jose State. I mean, San Jose State was such a good position. They were doing so much damage, but no follow-up on eliminations. They only had, I believe, 2. This is last. Yeah, this last elimination's really, really good damage. And then again, it's so strong, this combination of both Bloodhound and Bangalore. I mean, since beta, those 2 have been paired up. And they haven't gotten... I mean, they've been nerfed a little bit. Mostly just other agents were buffed. Seer was really, really good for a little bit. Lil Nas X, if you will. And he was having a great time, being in meta for a little bit. But overall, I mean, it's just such a good pairing. If digital threats aren't ground loot, and again, they're legendary, right? They're not going to be dropping all the time, even if they are ground loot. They're only a counter to Bangalore. They're not counter to the Bloodhound. The Bloodhound still has that ultimate that is a thermal, that is just, speed boost everything. And to see them utilize that very evidently and take out the win. Katu Apex, good job. And we'll be getting underway to map 2 as soon as we can. But overall, any other analyst kind of style things that you have in your mind, Brandon, that you kind of saw happening?
With the questions you asked earlier, with what particular guns were used, like I saw a lot of assault rifles with the R301 and like the Hemlock, especially. Like I saw a bunch of like obviously aside from the Kraber, but I just see a lot of assault rifle action. Like Risky TV used the Hemlock in the end with the R9, so that's like always a classic combo. But also just other things to keep in mind that probably some longer ranger weapons like the G7 would be utilized, but I just think the assault rifle category is utilized the most in these
Yeah,
games.
but I agree. I think assault rifles are still just dominating Apex overall, and map pool and it's just such a consistent damage. But what would you say about like ammo? Is there more ammo on this map that you're aware of, or is it just like you really hope you get those engagements early so you don't have to worry about ammo late game? I think honestly, at least from what I saw, the 33 repeater and then also the G7 Scout again being kind of that mid between a sniper rifle and a assault rifle is such a nice weapon because you're very consistent with your shots. But some of those other assault rifles, you're burning like 30 to do 10 damage or 10 bullets hitting, right? Your damage percentage wise per bullet is a lot less. Maybe your tracking is just god tier or something like that. But overall, I mean, you're looking at a lot less or a lot more ammo for a lot less damage for those kinds of weapons. I would like to take a look at our predictions eventually here, and again, I don't want to go with you here. You might have some internal biases here, but I've been rooting for GFU for quite some time, and so I want to go for GFU all the way again. Again, I had some predictions that ended up going against me because they ended up dropping out of the tournament, but overall, GFU, to the day I die, I'm gonna bleed Bruins, but what would you say your predictions are?
I'm really biased since I used to play in the GFU team in the fall, so I am just like you, where I would just be rooting for GFU. That is my ride or die team. I have been playing with them, ever since last year, ever since I joined the program. I've gotten to bond with a lot with the guys, but I am rooting for them until I die on my grave.
Sounds great. So it looks like we're going to be both on the GFU swinging there. But overall, I'm honestly super excited to see how Katu Apex potentially build this momentum. Again, I talk about this in almost every single game title you can think of for the esports collegiate scene. And honestly, it is like 60% emotion, which also kind of relates to momentum. And then, 20-40% skill depending on, your players. But I honestly think if Katu Apex get some early eliminations again, they're gonna scale this into a 2-3, maybe even a full sweep. They're looking really nice ammo wise, synergy wise. If they build those shields like you mentioned as well, they can't craft them, so it's a lot less spawn rate, if you will, from the boxes. You're not gonna have other teams that you eliminate that will have them. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. But overall, again, I would love to take a look at the overall maps and map rotation. We started with Kings Canyon, went into World's Edge, and now we're on Olympus, one of the newer maps in rotation. And then we're going to go to Storm Point. We're going to take a 2-week break from Olympus, and then we're going to end on Olympus. And if you're not familiar with our map rotation, the first 6 weeks is all map rotation play, general play, and then I believe we go into either 2 or 3 weeks of finals, and there will be the top 15 teams that will play in that grand finals to decide who is the best team of the ECAC broadcast and spring 2024 season. So Olympus for now, 2-week break, Storm Point, and then we're back on Olympics on week number 6. So, enjoy this map for just a week, and then we'll be back to it before finals. I would love to take a quick little break here, and we will be back very shortly. Welcome back again. We are on week number 3 of this ECAC Spring 2024 season, and we are on Olympus, a slightly newer map and some alterations as well to the crafting system, as well as some perks involved as well. And I would love to remind you guys, if you guys are stopping in just for a quick second, or if you're staying here for the whole broadcast, regardless, I would love for you guys to take a look at ECAC's Twitter. They have all the updates you guys can have on there, staying connected with your favorite teams, understanding everything that's happening with them to make sure that you guys are best informed as an audience. And thank you guys again for being here. We're going to be, again, still maintaining the next. Map 1 went to Katu Apex, and we still have 2 maps to play. They're going to be both played on Olympus. I'm interested to see if there might be some shifting of both, maybe landing spots, maybe rotation-wise, if you're going to prioritize that over eliminations this kind of time around. What is kind of your thought process as a player? You've played before on teams, and so I'm excited to kind of get into that. How have you guys kind of made adjustments into map 2? If you guys don't start very well, what is your kind of thought process when you go into map 2?
Well, it varies at times because some games, like the first game of the day, we don't do the best, so we kind of transition into having more of a diverse landing spot. So maybe we switch landing spots, and some of us land together, and one person lands on the other side. But we usually would, if the team can't contest us, we would usually pinch the team where one of us is behind them, and we have 2 of us on the other side. It was just more of like a team effort in eliminating the team in the contest. Yeah.
Sounds great. Thank you for that insight, Brandon. And we're going to be looking like the players are loading in and they are dropping as we speak, as you can see from our beautiful production fly cam there. And again, the colors are going to be a very good indicator of where your favorite team is landing. So you want to make sure you're looking at the left and the right portions of the screen and finding where your favorite team is. And that way, when we look at the mega map, you can kind of track where they are going back and forth. And if they're kind of staying alive, you'll see in the top right portion if they're getting knocked, eliminated fully, and things of that nature. So it's good to note that. And now Southern Arc Blue, they're going to be looting up here.
After seeing the mini map, I just noticed earlier, I just realized that GFU Esports has just landed on the hot drop twice. So now they're landing at phase driver. So they're gonna turn on the I forgot it's called, the phase driver, obviously, just to get better loot. So not only they're landed the first game on a hot drop, they also win a second hot drop this game. It's like a double win-win. They get better loot, better armor, and then they get more on top of that with the phase driver.
And yeah, and you sometimes see teams in this kind of collegiate era to be a little bit scared sometimes. I mean, a lot of these teams are undiscovered. You don't know how they play. Some of them you can watch their scrims and see how they play, kind of aggressive play styles and whatnot. But overall, it's kind of exciting to see in a collegiate tournament people landing at this hot drop location, because a lot of the time teams play so fearful that they go to that, outskirt zero loot spot. But taking the risk on the second map is a very cool thing to see. It looks like we see a fight engagement here. Got some cracked shields happening. Some shields from the conduit there to sustain through the fight. DJ Man taking some damage as well. I'm interested to see how these teams are going to play this out. Some catalyst passives as well. Tacticals. DJ Man taking some fights here. It's a 3v2. Nice damage from the Spitfire. Huge damage from the Spitfire. Necro getting the kill leader and also just 3 eliminations overall. His team doing some damage, but he is the man. Getting a lot of eliminations there, and now getting some early information on where some of these other teams are while he's looting, just to guarantee that they're not getting third-partied here. And that's the first of many squads to go down. Looking at 17 squads remaining and 46 members total. I forgot, this is my favorite spot to land on this map, the Olympus. In the little KO arena, you can only punch people. You can't use any weaponry while you're in there, and it is a fun little mechanic Interested to see in a competitive environment, but overall, it's a fun little atmosphere. It's really tough when the end zone is in that octagon. Have you ever had that happen to you?
Yeah, I mean, we had multiple teams stay in the ring just for the memes, but just overall, it's more of a hassle of anything because we just have to look over the teams that are in the boxing ring to see where they would rotate to, and maybe we'll chase them, or maybe we'll just leave them be and rotate to a different spot.
Interesting indeed. Weber State JV, they're going to be looking like they're down. Kern of Kettle, and they're going to try to sustain here. And it looks like they're going to have a similar composition that we saw with GFU. They have the Bangalore and the Mad Maggie, but they're going to have very interesting other composition there with the Catalyst. And it looks like a squad wipe from San Jose State there. They were down a member, and they had so much shield on them. Blue shield to gray is a very slight but a huge differential in shielding there. And it looks like they're going to be able to take that squad wipe and maintain composure and scale on. 15 squads left now. 2 have gone down. The one we just witnessed and another one off stream. And I'm interested to see how they kind of play this end zone. But I would love to take a look at the mega map here and see where these teams are rotating. But at least for now, we're going to look at this engagement right now. San Jose State taking this fight, getting that early knock. And then taking use of this Mad Maggie ultimate. And then this RE45, sorry, being able to be utilized as well. A nice finish there from the longbow. Making sure that that guy goes down to a box coffin. And then, again, a 3v1 situation. You're not going to win that. RE45 being very, very exceptionally well in a spam kind of fight here. Husson Green, only 2 members of their squad, but strong and mighty are they. They're looking for some sort of advantage before they take a fight here. Always down a member. You have a different playstyle. Looking like they're going to try to third-party this building, though. There's so many members. 6 total. Take a fight here.
All these teams in this area have white armor, so I can't wait to see what action to upgrade their armor. We see the crypto drone just going ahead and scanning the enemies, and he's pulling out the EMP to upgrade his armor. Now we're just looking at Kraber Hunter, just looking around, charging his shield with his shield cell.
Bubble from the Gibby there to sustain through the fight here, but once they find out that this team only has 2 members, there's going to be a W key situation and not a very happy team of Husson Green. Lifeline drone coming out here, trying to sustain, but again, there's so many pincer angles. There was 2 squads on that building. Catalyst Tactical getting destroyed there, and they're going to fall off the high ground, but they broke up, and now the shield is upgraded for the Catalyst as well. A random member of a squad, they're taking some fight engagements there. Catalyst trying to sustain here, try to get some shielding, and GU Apex, they're getting third-partied. They just cracked the lifeline and the Gibraltar, but that team that they were in the same building of deciding to finally take advantage of that distraction. Now there's only 1 member of the squad remaining. It's Kraber Hater. And he's 2 bullets away from a box coffin himself. Phoenix Kit coming online here, and it's a very dangerous task. All these teams fighting in this close quarters scenario. To Apex, San Jose State, there's so many teams all in this area fighting. The Catalyst Tacticals as well are just so frustrating to play against, and San Jose State is getting active. They got 2 eliminations. That's on the Bangalore, Gibraltar and Lifeline, I believe. And Board Abuse is getting a Phoenix Kit as well. Kraber Hater ends up getting that revive because of that distraction earlier on. And now he's in a drone for early information. And GFU Esports here looking mighty fine within their loot. They got full kitted R301, EV8 there. And they're all looking pretty happy here. And it looks like we're seeing a lot of teams switch to this Bangalore Bloodhound again. This map is so prevalent for close to mid-range fights. And it looks like Jisoo Moonlight just got a squad wipe there. They're going to be looting up Lil Baka with a shield battery. A lot of fights happening early.
Yeah, GCU has purple armor, and only one of our team members in GFU Esports has purple armor. And maybe we'll even see an encounter from both teams.
Yeah, Jisoo Moonlight just sustaining here, and they all have purple shield. We saw how instrumental having the purple shields late in the game again, because there's so many people that relied heavily on the crafters to get them upgraded. They can't do that now, and so we see all these players now having purple shield, which means that they got a lot of fights underneath their belts, or at least a lot of pick damage, or the previous team that they squad wiped did. And so we see on this mega map here, it's going to pull to the upper right portion there and then ignore those other circles. Those are all Loba ultimates that haven't been canceled by their Loba. And so it looks like they're going to have to, ignore those. That's not where the zone's pulling. That bigger circle is the one. And then we'll find out if they use the Bloodhounds to find out where the next circle is sooner than later. But overall, GFU in a good spot. Kraber Haters seem in a good spot, but they're taking the fight with extremely wash. And a lot of other members. T-Take in the hands of Bookworm. Will they utilize it to the fullest, or will it just be some rotations? And it looks like it's kind of that mid to late game situation where a lot of teams are utilizing their legs and rotating as much as possible, as now they don't really have to worry as much about these other members of the enemy combatants because they're looted up, they're able to rotate well, and they honestly don't have to fight as much because of these Loba ultimates being so prevalent. They can just pop that ultimate on the ground and say hello to some nice loot without having to fight at all. Nice shots from Bookworm, getting some damage and a crack as well onto some enemy combatants there. Will that be enough for a fight or even a Bangalore ultimate? We shall see. But honestly, there's so many slight bunkers. Tell me a little bit about that Conduit ultimate and what it kind of does, Brandon. I'm interested to see.
So it has like a little radius. There's like, I think there's like, it throws out at least 6 of those cylinder, like things
shields?
you could call it.
Yeah.
Not like shields, but it's just like more of a, I could just say it's a surrogate. If you run past it, it stuns you, it slows you down. It's similar to like, I guess you can compare it to an ash snare where it just slows you down. And it just makes you vulnerable. And I think if I remember correctly, the longer you stay in the conduit, the more it does damage to you. So it just leaves you in a vulnerable state. And it's really good for gatekeeping teams outside of ring or when it's closing.
Yeah, because it's a big radius. It's like a fuse ultimate, if you will.
Right.
Sounds good. Thank you for that insight. I appreciate that. And it looks like a quick, nice spot for GCU Moonlight here. Pretty traditional for them to be taking these fights quickly. And they get a knock. Arc Stars to try to sustain them through. Potential revive for those enemy teams. But all that's keeping them away is this Wattson. And it is not theirs. It is the enemy team's Wattson there. So they can't push through that without getting stunned and revealed. So they're going to try to break these out and try to scale up. And it looks like that was a squad wipe. They only got 1 knock there. But there's another team that has to be close by because they got 1 knock. A couple others that did some damage. But now they have to worry about a potential third party here. 9 squads left, 20 total players, which means there's a lot of members without their squad, their full squad. And so it's going to be a lot of potential fast engagements here.
Washington State Esports with 2 people are fighting someone right now. They were Conduit and a Revenant.
Very interesting long range to take with the L-Star, as it's pretty traditional for a medium to close range fight, usually hip fire. So it's interesting to see that. Revenant ult coming online. And now some spam damage from GCU Moonlight. They are so good about taking advantage of spacing and advantages in general. And this Thermite grenade keeping them at bay for now, but they're still shooting through it. I mean, I can't see anything on my screen, but it looks like they are able to still fire through that very well. And GCU Moonlight doing a lot of damage, but Bookworm goes down to a third party. There's another member of a squad behind them. Order's going to have to try to live here, but it's another third party. And I believe it was GCU or GFU Esports. They got the picks onto those GCU Moonlight players. And now some quick hip fire wingman shots. Goat Eat Grass goes down, but he has a big legendary shield to be able to sustain through all that excess damage. Some pressuring with these grenades and hoping to get this revive eventually, but 2 members go down. It is not their team, but it is at least Goat Eats Grass going down there. They're trying to get as much loot as they can from this banner, but there's still a beacon inside the ring.
There's also a knocked player still beneath Xenoblade and TK64. I believe it's a conduit. I'm not sure which team it is that the team member they knocked, but we see GFU Esports putting down a mobile respawn beacon, and we got WSU shooting at them, preventing them to respawn Goat Eats Grass.
Yeah, T64 is going to opt to try to get some rotations happening here and try to play for a late game situation. And the Watson's now able to get a potential revive, and it looks like Extremely Washed is on that same roster of teams, so they're going to be able to get their member back up, and it's going to be 3 people he has to deal with later.
We also forgot to mention that Xenoblade got knocked and finished, so now it's 2 people fully dead on GFU Esports, and it's just TK64 carrying on his life.
Yeah, and that passive from Ash that you mentioned that is similar to that Conduit Ultimate being utilized there, and he is snared, stuck, and unhappy, and he might even get knocked there. San Jose State, really, really good about owning the high ground location. Good tactical use there from Gordo to be able to utilize that space control and get early info. 3 squads remaining, 7 players total. Again, a potential 3-2-2 or a 3-3-1 situation. I believe Extremely Washed has a full member of squad. Travi Static is the one that's remaining from his squad, so it's a 3 against 1. Catalyst Ultimate coming online there, and they're just shooting through this wall in hopes and dreams of eliminating that player. This is a big zone to be playing with as few members as there are left on this map. There's so few players left remaining, and there's so much space to be able to be utilized. And I mean, Catalyst isn't the best in these scenarios. Loba's not the best in scenarios. Maybe Ash, but honestly, Ash is just a good rotation ult. There's not really much engage from that unless you're using Crypto. Travi Static goes down. 2 squads now left remaining. It's 6 players total. It's going to be a quick engagement. They're all bunkered in this building. Arcstar in the hand of Gordo. Will they be able to engage on this team? It's such a small box. It's like a crab trap, if you will. It's not going to be looking good for these teams. They're able to sustain through this. And the Rise Ultimate comes online. It's going to affect his team more than the enemy combatants. They're stuck in this bunker, and there's still snares and grenades coming online. They're stuck in this corner, grenades coming out, cracking of shields potential. Both teams are trying to sustain. 1 player gets knocked. Tries to go for the no-scope. Catalyst Ultimate coming online as well in this building. What is happening? San Jose State has a member knocked. It's a 2v3. Revive trying to come online there, which means he can't utilize that shield. Nice spam damage coming online here. Extremely Lost is 1 HP in a dream. Gordo now has to take this pressure. Is it enough to sustain through the fight? L-Star coming online. 1 member remaining of the enemy combatants, and he goes down. Musking Gum Black takes the victory there. That was insane amounts of utility. What did I just what happened?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest. Once I saw that Catalyst walk up, I knew what it was. It was just to separate the team members that are just extending too far and just to pick them off one by one. but we just see Muskingum Black just take over from the inside, from the outside. I was actually expecting the other team to win since they had the outside advantage. Like
Yeah.
they could have waited the whole time for the whole ring to close down all the way, and then just like throw some ultimates like the Ash Snare, for example, like if they come out the door. But no, they just keep peeking their heads in a little too much, and almost eventually all of them just died, and Muskingum Black took the win.
Yeah, Muskingum Black, I mean, they're not in the best positioning, right? But they're picking off on both doors. We see the other enemy team. I unfortunately don't know who was in the end game besides Muskingum Black, but the other team there is just all on the same side. They throw the Horizon ultimate, they throw a bunch of grenades from that left kind of POV there that we saw there, and then they see that two members of the squad rotate on the opposite side, deal so much damage into them, and then they able to win the game because they're doing so much damage uncontested. Really, really good job from Muskingum Black. I'd love to take a look at some of these map replays. Again, these map replays are brought to you by Advanced GG, the best gamer supplement out there. And I believe we'll take a look at that whenever we can. I believe we're cutting the replays as we speak. But overall, oh, we get to take a look at them right now. Early aggression from San Jose State here. We saw so many fights happening early. Again, this map was so... There were so many members not in the ring. There was 7 total people, and it was not even one of the pulling zones yet. That was really, really high eliminations second map. And I believe this will be our third and last map of the day for week number 3 on map Olympus. And I believe we might see even some different compositions here. I mean, everybody switches up something. It's sometimes very interesting. Ultimate. I didn't even see this one from San Jose State. That was a really good rotation ultimate. And then they get outside this and they start spamming that L-Star hip fire. There's nothing better than it. You see that crouch fire there too. Some good damage overall from Bookworm as well. Then GCU Moonlight getting third party. This was such a sad third party we saw from them. They fought, they took a bunch of fights here, and then boom. They take this fight. The second they start to reload, guess who's behind them? GFU Esports, and they end up going down to GFU Esports there. And then San Jose State, honestly, really good high ground location as well. And then this Krabby Patty formula level fight here. They're all just in a crab cage, just living up a storm. You think they're baited, but guess what? Crabs are about to fight back, and San Jose State thought they were in the best spot, but I mean, you're seeing all these grenades come out so early, and then guess what? The Horizon ultimate, there's only one grenade on that Horizon ultimate. There was not coordination there. And then that Horizon ultimate not really doing much there. Smuppy and Gordo on the right side there trying to spam with some damage, but then they give it up. You see them pressure towards the left side here. They all kind of shift over, looking at this left door. And then, boom. We're about to be flanked. They get Shmuppy knocked. And then they go for the no-scope. The Catalyst ultimate coming online. It is just not the best. And then, I think this spot right here, when they accidentally either spammed the revive, they weren't able to utilize that knockdown shield, that's legendary knockdown shield that his teammate had. And then you see 2 members of the squad finally flank them on that right corner of that crab trap, if you will. And then they go down. Overall, I think that first knock was instrumental. What did you see there?
You know, like most of the replays we saw were just about were about San Jose State, and they actually extremely washed from San Jose State. I saw at the end he was the kill leader. He had 10 kills. You know,
He
if
had
they
10
secured
kills?
the win, yeah, if he secured the win right there, that would have been like would have wiped the floor at that point with whatever amount of points that is. I personally don't remember, but that would just be like,
That's a lot of points.
yeah, yeah.
That's 10. 10 is crazy. So that is really good job from San Jose State. And again, it sucks that they were in such a great spot, and then they're tossing salad like Olive Garden employees. They just unfortunately just sell their positioning to the nearest buyer. They just don't want to win the game, it looks like, unfortunately. But overall, again, that was so instrumentally played by Muskingum Black, being able to utilize the 2-1 situations. And if one player can take on 2 teammates or 2 enemy combatants, then those 2 players from your team can go take that 2v1 a little bit more aggressively and a little bit more controlled, if you're able to take two members of the enemy team, that's a really solid situation that your team can utilize, and you just have to stay alive. Your whole goal is just staying alive. And unfortunately, you see that positioning from San Jose State. He has that confidence, right? He has 10 eliminations. He pushes in all by himself to such an easy fire line, and then he goes down, and then his teammates are just like, man, what the heck, man? They're just so sad. But overall, good job in the second map. I'd love to take a look again and remind you guys of our map pool for this first week of the series of 2024. And yes, so we have it right here. Week 1 was Kings Canyon. Week 2 was World's Edge. Week 3, Olympus is the current map, as you see with that beautiful red banner lining there. And then we have Storm Point for a couple weeks, which I've heard a lot of people love Storm Point. I believe that's most people's favorite map. So I believe we're going to be super excited for that. And then back to Olympus before the finals. And I believe we might have some updates here. Welcome back again, week number 3, and now map number 3 of the day and week for Spring 2024 ECAC Apex Legends Tournament. How are you doing, TNPDX? Anything crazy that you saw so far that you're like, wow, that was a crazy turn of events? Or anything that you saw so far that was super analytically fun? Anything that you could think of so far?
Well, especially what happened last game, I still can't get over the fact that San Jose State lost after they had their
Yeah.
big sweep of the lobby with one of the team players having 10 kills, and I think one of the other players had 2 and the other players had 3, so they could have had 15. If anything, I've in total 18 kills altogether. Yet first place, but they failed to get the win.
Yeah, failed to get the win, but overall, again, second place is not too shabby for overall for the lobby. And again, this is just one of many weeks of the spring 2024 season, and so we have 3 more weeks remaining, and not just quite yet. We still have one map left to play. I would love to take a look at the next map as soon as we can once those players start loading into that spacecraft and get involved in this next game. But again, I would like to take a look at the map rotation. We have Olympus as this week, and then we have Storm Point, Olympus. And so that is where you guys will be able to find your favorite map if you want to tune into just week 5, week 6, whatever it may be. And that is just of the traditional play. And then we'll go into playoffs where, again, we select the top 15 teams from the overall 6 weeks of play, and they battle against each other in. I do not know the map rotation quite yet, but we will know as soon as we can. But again, I would like to update you guys and remind you guys to follow ECAC Esports on Twitter, as if you guys will be jumping in and out of the broadcast. We want to make sure that you guys are best updated on everything that's happened with your favorite teams, or just updated in general about ECAC Esports and everything that they are doing. And so I would love to take a quick little 5-minute break here as we have them loading up into the lobby as we speak, and we will be right back with a few messages.
Yeah.
Welcome
Yep.
back, Spring 2024 ECAC tournament. We are going to be loading up to the lobby very, very soon here. All the teams are readying up as we speak. And what are you kind of anticipating for this map number 3 of week 3 here?
I'm just anticipating just having GFU Esports win one game at least. It's like as like we mentioned earlier with our predictions, like how both of our predictions are based on GFU Esports just taking over. And I'm just biased. I'll admit to that. But I just want to see GFU Esports take everything apart in this game and then just crush it and just get a dub. And that's just what I want to see.
Yeah, I'm honestly interested to see where San Jose State is standing on the rankings, and I believe we'll take a look at that as soon as we can, especially because they've gotten so many eliminations, so many good placement points overall. And from bottom to top, we're going to have Husson Green, UMT Grizz Copper, Soaring Eagles, USM Huskies Blue, Trine University Blue, GU Apex, Apex Legends Red, Lakeland University Apex, LIU Apex, and JJ Apex as well. And then to your top 10, again, top 15 is what's important for where you guys stand in the next remaining situations. It looks like San Jose State is now in that third spot there with 62 elimination points, 71 for GCU Moonlight. They got a sixth of their points from that one game, like you mentioned. They went insane for those elimination points. We also have Weber State Junior Varsity on that 10th spot, ULL Apex Black, University UFW or WFU Corsonic, Muskingum University Black with 98 points. A lot of those points being from those placements: Southern Arc Blue, Katu Apex, WSU Esports, San Jose State, GCU Moonlight, and GFU Esports. Still being in that first spot because of, again, those first 2 weeks they did super, super well, but overall they haven't made a good showing this last week. San Jose State, though, in that third spot, very, very strong showing. And this is the map that we have been seeing overall. A few Tridents, not a lot of rotation besides the Catalyst Ultimates, and a few others of those mobile blimps, if you will, being able to utilize those redeploy situations are very, very beneficial to this map. But honestly, I haven't seen a lot of early fights other than San Jose State and GCU Moonlight. They've been consistently the teams that take these early engagements and get those early picks and scale so well with confidence. I'm not seeing any other teams really utilizing that. And they, again, San Jose, Katu Apex occasionally, and then also GCU Moonlight especially, have getting those eliminations early, and then they scale really, really well. I'm excited and hopefully seeing those early fights taking place this map and seeing different teams rise to the top. I know Grizz Copper, they've been also really, really good about getting early eliminations, but they usually end up getting third partied. So third parties, such a detrimental thing that are in this game. So many teams just live and breathe for third parties in this game, and it makes me so, so sad. Hopefully we see some different rotations here as well between different teams. You know, we saw different landing spots. Looks like GFU was taking those early fights at the big, big high tier loot, mega loot spot that rotates every time you load up into the lobby. I'm excited to see if they choose to go with that again or they go with something else indeed. And honestly, again, the standings of match 3 are at the top of your screen. That should be the most updated form of everybody's team standing, and you will be seeing that updated as we go. And if you don't or aren't able to tune in to the stream as often, again, at ECAC_esports on Twitter for all updates on your favorite teams, as well as, you know, the competition, making sure certain teams aren't, you know, doing as well, depending on whatever you guys decide. But I would love to see your insights. What do you think is going to happen this next match?
I'm excited to see some of like the top 4 teams we saw. We saw WSU, San Jose, GCU Moonlight, and GFU Esports. If I remember correctly, GCU Moonlight is behind GFU Esports by 7 points in total. So I'm excited to see if GCU Moonlight will rack up some points in this last game of week 3 to get ahead of GFU Esports. Maybe or maybe not. Maybe we'll see WSU come up on top, or even San Jose State like we saw this last game.
Yeah, and Muskingum Black, I mean, it shows with them winning that map, just last map, I mean, it tells you how any team can still maintain composure and stay in this game. There's no crazy Apex Predator trails that we're seeing in these lobbies. They're still really, really good teams, but there's not necessarily one that stands out above the rest. It is still any man's game. Anybody can still win this map, and it looks like that Flycam was beautifully displaying every team that was dropping in here. And it looks like we might see. Nope, they decided to go with something completely different. It looks like GFU landing on the bottom portion of the map, dropping early, and we see 0 teams landing Turbine. We saw a lot of teams contesting the high drop spot, but again, like I mentioned, that's not traditional for competitive collegiate esports. There's usually one spot you typically want to land. You've executed the loop pattern of that, and then you're also very, very consistent about being good about confidence in fights around certain different angles and everything. And we see no team wants to take those fights, and nobody goes to Turbine. It looks like JJ
No one really
Apex.
went to Elysium too, because, well, it's aside from it being a high tier, it just mind boggles me how no one has gone either to the hot drop or Elysium. Also, what do you think the game is gonna end this game? I know we caught a glimpse of it, but just looking from the map we saw earlier, what do you think? What do you think the ring is gonna end?
Honestly, it seems like it typically pulls north, but honestly, it could pull anywhere, and we could see that it is in this lower portion of the map, at least for now. But again, because of RNG, and for those that don't know what RNG is, it's just random number generator. It just makes things random, especially in battle royales. The RNG in this map and battle royales in general are crazy, so you never really know what to expect. So sometimes having expectations is the worst thing you can do. But overall, we see an early fight here. Crazy.exe and Apex Legends Red, GU Apex being the only one alive left to tell the tale, and GCU Moonlight taking some fights here. Another knock in their favor. 2 members of the enemy team knocked there, and it looks like a potential full squad wipe from GCU Moonlight, and some rotations here early. 3 members of the squad using a mobile beacon to rotate. GU Apex now with 2 members left. Kraber Hater is in a coffin box. They're going to try to utilize these barrels from Mr. Gassy himself to stay alive through this fight. Caustic. Always forget that guy's name. But yeah, Caustic is honestly, I feel like he's underutilized, specifically on... Is it Stormpoint? Last week's map was Stormpoint, I believe. And that map is I feel like you guys underutilized them with it. Just you guys meaning just the players in general of this game. And it looks like Board Abuse is going to keep popping this gas, eating too many beans for breakfast. 17 squads remaining, 45 players in total, and there was a Conduit ultimate there.
We see GU Apex getting pinned down, but we saw Board Abuse get a knock with the Arc Star, and GU Apex just got eliminated by LIU.
Yeah, LIU Apex playing that perfectly, and that's what we kind of expected to see in the last fight previous, right? Last game, we saw those 2 teams taking each other on, and if you're surrounding a little box pincer angle, if you will, onto a team, you're typically going to win if you play that fight properly. It's a very much exposed space. There's windows to know exactly how they're positioning, exactly what they're doing, and you can pincer them so well if you coordinate that. And It looks like Muskingum Black, the team that took the victory in map number 1, is alive and healthy, looking at fairly good loot. And then Southern Arc Blue, pretty traditional that they have at least one elimination underneath their belts early on here. And they do. And they have decent shields. They're just going to have to actually heal up, not just use the conduit tactical. But they use it again, looking at a potential fight here. They know this is where the next zone is pulling to. As you can see, the green on their circle is from that info that they got. Now they don't even have to use the conduit passive. They can just use the Wattson ultimate to get that passive healing. And it looks like GFU is on this high ground spot here, looking down on It Wasn't Me, Toxin, Solar. They're going to look to try to pick off some damage, and Xenoplays almost gets cracked. They're going to have to sustain. Scanning and finding all 3 members of this squad. 15 squads were left and 40 total remaining in the lobby here. GFU Esports wants to take an engagement here, but they're going to be pushing into a Wattson ultimate and some fences.
Both teams are running assault rifles. We see Xenoplays holding a Nemesis, and we have It Wasn't Me holding a Hemlock. And it's really questionable with this Zelda how we have a Hemlock and a Spitfire. I never particularly used that personally before, but you know what, you gotta make do with whatever you got.
You have to make do with what you got, and it looks like Katu Apex spots the GFU team here, and they're going to try to risk it all and fight them here. Katu Apex getting some early information, getting some spam onto these members, and he gets a crack onto the Bangalore Risky TV, really utilizing how well he has been aiming as of late. And it looks like they have a blimp, little mobile drop, if you will, that they're going to utilize to try to W key this team. Risky TV, Shadow, and Dawes are going to look for this engagement and guarantee this execution. Bangalore ultimate is popped, and all is going to break loose here. This is going to be an interesting fight to see. Nice spam damage from GFU there. He gets a level up, which might proc. Interesting fun there. He's going to have to play away from this Bangalore ultimate until it pops, and then hopes that he gets out. He's going to pop that ultimate back onto Katu Apex to hopefully either zone them out or take a fight here. And we see Gray rotating into zone, as this is an aerial POV that he has that they're fighting. And a nice Loba ultimate usage there from GFU to sustain through. They can now loot up, get some more shields and batteries of some kind, or some meds if they need. And ammo. All kinds of fun that Loba ultimate brings. Now, Brandon, I'm curious as to hear from you. What is one agent champion, you know, legend, if you will, that you wish that was in meta that you just haven't seen, and they're like either nerfed to the ground or anything exciting at all that you wish would be in the game?
Huh. You know, that's a really tough question. You know, we can do all of these people playing specific legends like we see here on the flight cam. We have Revenant and we have Bangalore and Conduit. I haven't seen a lot of you know, what pops up to my mind is Ballistic. You know, he's more of a fragger character. You know, like specifically in this engagement we see right here, that would be perfect. Just like, you know, for example, flank around all the way and just pop those shields and get the fast reload with your teammates taking some bullets for you and shooting back. I think that would be, you know, if they could just do something with him that can make him a little bit more meta, I think that would be a pretty sweet substitute to one of the teams here.
And he was one of the most recent agents added, correct?
After Ballistic, it was Conduit, I believe. So it was
okay, so
2 seasons ago.
Conduit's a lot more meta, but Ballistic was added at least as of the last 2 agents. So that's cool to know. Overall, we see Jisoo Moonlight using that ultimate, though, from Conduit to slow those enemies. And again, it's very similar animation-wise as that Ash snare. And so it's really cool to see that they utilized that, got that stun, and they scaled so fast onto that player, it worked out really well in their favor. Jisoo Moonlight now rotating. They have a lot of eliminations. I believe that's 5 total for their squad. And there's 12 squads remaining, 28 players total remaining. And it's just going to be a rotation game. I'd like to take a look at the mega map eventually, but obviously there's a fight happening on my screen, and they go down. You Apex standing through this fight now. But now to the mega map, we see a bunch of players outside the ring. We see obviously GFU on that right corner, a bunch of global ultimates just everywhere. And then we see a lot of members not even in zone. There's only 2 of the 28 players in zone as of now. Katsu Apex taking a fight here on this left corner. They have that ultimate from Conduit online and utilizing it to guarantee space control. Like you mentioned, gatekeeping people outside the zone is a really good job to utilize that ultimate. Now it's 10 squads left. 25 total players. Lakeland University just trying to rotate in here. They're going to be rotating into Viking Cap and Shmubby. Now they're going to be looking to engage here, but they're trying to sneak behind them. They don't want to fight too early.
Watch out, enemy there.
They're looking to fight. They're just playing information. They're not even looking to fight at all. Now it's a fight happening between GCU Moonlight and another team. They're going to use that passive from Bangalore to hopefully get out here, sustain, and then maybe fight. They are in the next zone, but there's so many teams looking at them now. So much damage taken by Order. Let's get the Phoenix kit off. And he does. 9 squads left. The new kill leader is Bookworm as they're looking to sustain. And I believe Katsu, Apex, and San Jose are both looking at them. And these are all 3 high elimination squads. We have Katsu that have been going crazy since that first game. We also have San Jose State that has been placed top 2. And then GCU has been placed top 2 as well. So many big squad names are in this final zone. And they're all fighting each other, trying to look for the advantage before they take a full-on W key to this fight. Lakeland University definitely playing placement, as so is Corsonic. Falcon, the only member of his squad remaining. Katsu Apex looking real aggressive here for some fights. Katsu Apex trying to find out if there's people rotating behind them. San Jose State taking some shots with this triple take here. And they're going to sustain a little bit, and then maybe W key. Looks like a Mad Maggie ultimate's coming online. A speed boost is presumed, and maybe some damage with that little boulder. Fights are engaged here. Shmubby taking a lot of damage. But he has that Revenant ult, so he doesn't have to worry too much about dying here. And 2 red shields from Extremely Washed and Viking Cap. That's so much HP advantage into this LIU Apex team. And not only is that, but they have a knock. And maybe another knock if they get Falcon down here. Lakeland has 1 member left, and it's Burr. Burr in a dream. That's a lot of damage from this zone. I don't know if he'll be able to sustain it. Extremely Washed, Shmubby, and Viking Cap gonna get that last elimination. His box falls to the ground. It looks like 11 total eliminations for this San Jose squad. 5 on the kill reader. And again, he is just feeling it. Extremely Washed, Viking Cap, Shmubby, they are just dominating these lobbies when it comes to eliminations. They are the AIM champions, but they're going to get spammed through the smoke. And this Watson player taking some damage. Nice little headshot there. They can't push through this. Apex Legends Red only has Num Num remaining. He's trying to heal up. Maybe a finish. And it looks like San Jose State gets the full squad wipe onto Apex Legends Red there. Really, really good job from San Jose State. Again, more eliminations for their squad. And that crab trap that we saw earlier in the last zone is in this zone as well. Or at least, a very similar box. That Loba ultimate being able to sustain them through the fight. But I mean, everyone on their squad has red shields. You talked about how instrumental that is. DK64 Xeno plays are in this bunker. Will they sustain through this fight? There's so much damage, so much thermite grenade damage. San Jose State gets the squad wipe onto GFU as well. It is just their game. If they're able to live through this fight, that'll be big. San Jose State pops the ultimate from Shmubby. A potential third party. One of their squad members goes down. RE45 in the hands. Will they be able to sustain through this fight? Extremely Wash goes down. San Jose State dies to Southern Arc Blue. The only way that they were going to get put down in the lobby is a third party. There's 2 squads remaining. A 2v2 scenario here. Hearn of Kettle and Southern Arc Blue gets a third party onto kind of the kill leaders of the lobby again of San Jose State. And then they go down and then they're able to just squad wipe the last remaining players of the lobby. Again, there's their lobby to win, and they unfortunately go down.
See GFU Esports just in that crab place you were mentioning, and they were just like in the middle of the ring where almost all the other teams were. So if any team tried to push, they would just get third party as well, which is what we saw with San Jose State, which leads to Southern Arc Blue winning.
Yeah, Southern Arc Blue winning that. And again, they are typical of also those high elimination situations where they get so many high eliminations and then they pull all that confidence into late game and they maintain that composure all the way through placement wise. So really, really good job on Southern Arc Blue getting those eliminations. But again, it's that situation where GFU is the center of the zone, the dead center. And the second that they get a wipe and they see thermite grenade, thermite grenade, thermite grenade, just infinite amounts of damage being dumped out into both of these teams, every single 2-man squad is thinking, this is what I've been looking for. And you see the last 2-man squads remaining end up being the last 2 squads because they ended up fighting those 3-man squads when they were disadvantaged, down a member, down HP, down utility, no passives, things of that nature to be able to use. And so really, really, really good job from them getting those third parties and finishing up on top. I'd like to take a look at these replays again. Brought to you by Advanced GG. They are the gamer supplement your heart desires. And it looks like they are being able to, again, take these pincer angles so well. There's so many of these cubbies that are just absolutely dumpstered by all of this thermite grenade damage, all these conduit passives, the catalyst passives, all these tacticals as well. I mean, you see that ultimate coming online and then just absolutely stunning. And then GC Moonlight is the fastest team, I would say. GC Moonlight is one of the fastest team to take advantage of advantages and win conditions as well. And then also San Jose State is right there with them as they're pushing into this Wattson utility and not caring whatsoever. They obviously see they're down so many members and they're just trying to reload and sustain, but it's not the situation there. San Jose State, again, they're starting to heal up, but it is just not the right time as they're getting third-partied. And then Shmubby, the only one remaining, and he has an RE45 and a Dream there as Southern Arc Blue takes on the fight. And then they have 3 members of their squad remaining as they push onto this last 1-member squad. And it's a catalyst around a lifeline drop. It is not the best situation for them. But overall, again, Southern Arc Blue really taking advantage of that third party and then them having just quite literally every advantage possible and then winning that third map. That is map 3 of week 3. We appreciate you guys all being here, and we appreciate you guys sticking around for all the replays and everything. I believe we have a few closing remarks from Tien, but other than that, Oh yeah, let's take a look at the final rankings and see how all of your teams, favorite teams, have stacked up this last week so far. We'll have them all updated, not just from these three maps, but of week 3 and all of the weeks presumed to this day. And so we're going to take a look at that whenever we get a chance. And they will also be on Twitter. So obviously, we will not be able to take a look at them. We're doing the calculations right now. So all of the rankings are the same as previous until you guys take a look at their Twitter at ECAC underscore esports on Twitter. Take a look at their standings as you can on that Twitter. And so thank you guys again for being in this broadcast. And thank you, TNPDX, for joining me this week. Any last remarks?
Yeah, it was just nice casting with you too. But I am just as excited as you are for week 4 as we jump into Storm Point next week.
Next week is Storm Point. We'll see you guys on Twitter and we'll see you guys back on next week.